What's up guys, FLOWSHIZZLE here, and ever since the patch 4.04 where controllers were just basically completely changed, ASTRA's been kinda dead. But a lot of you guys have been asking, how do you play ASTRA if you still want to? Now, ASTRA, while being severely weakened, hasn't completely disappeared from professional play. Now, her effectiveness is kind of in the air, but if you really want to play her, she's definitely still relatively viable. As always, if you like the content, like, subscribe, all that jazz. Let's hop into the video. Alright, so the map I like to use the most, for example, is usually a set, and that's just because it's very standard. There's some sort of long A push, there's some sort of long B push, there's a mid to B and a mid to A, as well as just a mid straight up. So the playstyle is going to differ, obviously, slightly between the maps, and how specifically you're supposed to do stuff is also going to be a little bit different, but the general case is going to be explained in this video. So let's try to patch up some of the glaring holes with ASTRA's kit. We only have 4 stars now, and the most important I've described in my previous ASTRA guides is always to try to smoke out the choke point. We explained before that with the smoke choke point, you're allowed to freely swing on any of the attackers pushing through the smoke without getting picked by anyone in the back. For example, if you smoke something like this, you don't have to deal with players holding from back here. And only the players who are now running out onto site needing to clear multiple angles, and those are generally the easiest kills. Now the question is, do you really want to put a star behind your smoke before it was used, so that once they push through you can just pull, and that way anyone who runs out gets pulled into the suck, and there's nothing really much they can do. Basically, you just swing off of it. But with 4 stars, if you do that on both sites, there's nothing else for you to do. You basically have no way of really trying to help anyone mid, trying to stall any cap pushes, just sheerly because the number of smokes you have are less. So I actually recommend just putting down the 2 smoke stars and then just calling it there, having 2 on your belt or your person, whatever you want to really call it, and just use it as the round develops. That way you're more able to read the entire picture of what's going on in the round. What I mean by this is, now with less stars, you're really trying to guarantee some level of value that can be received from the stars, and just having it there in a position that is not used is already negative value. Pulling back the star means that that star is unusable for 25 seconds, means that you really shouldn't be placing stuff down unless you know it's probably gonna come to some sort of use. Having 2 stars on your person means that you can instantly react. You have a jet fighting mid and they're pushing her mid. Maybe you drop a smoke down for bottom mid, help her out a little bit. In the case that they're rushing A, you're gonna see that it's coming. You smoke it, and then you're gonna want to instantly drop into your ASTRA form to drop the pull star. This way you'll always guarantee that your stars won't be wasted, but this does require that you are quick on your feet. If you're slow at putting down stars, this might be something that you really want to get quick at. A few tips that I want to bring up is that where you're looking is where in ASTRA form you'll also be looking. So if I'm looking here, if I look here, then I'm looking this way. So stare toward the area you're already planning on going to ASTRA form in. That way when you can pop into it, you'll immediately be looking that direction. Not only that, if you're holding W, so for example, I'm running and then I'm gonna pop into ASTRA form, I'll immediately start going closer to the area that I want to place stars in. So in this close proximity, like A, it's only this distance. This probably doesn't matter as much, but it'll matter when you're trying to do something far. So let's try to go toward B. And then if I'm already flying there, it allows me to adjust a little bit quicker, and especially with the fact that ASTRA stars require a set time where it's placed and then it is activatable, you kind of want to be minimizing the amount of time you're in ASTRA form as much as possible, and to get down the stars as fast as possible. So let's talk playstyle. I think when you're playing ASTRA now, you really don't have as much wiggle room as you did before. You can't just sit back site. Playing aggressive for info is going to be more and more necessary when you're playing something like ASTRA. This allows you to cheat stars toward the other site, call for rotates early. If they're hitting A here, I'll spot them here rather than when they're on top of my star, which gives me more time to react, to think about the plays that I want to do, as well as call for my teammates to give me backup. If possible, you're also looking to combo with your teammates. ASTRA was always an amazing combo with Killjoy, but something like Chamber is also a good thing because now you have a tell. You don't need to always be peeking to get information. Now you can just wait for your Chamber's trademark to go off, and then you know when to pull or activate your abilities. If I don't see anybody here, what'll happen is I'll end up starting to stack stars toward this other side. Maybe I'll drop all 3 here, and then I'll have the smoke one just in case. But since I have such early info, I can decide to even play retake if I'm feeling really pressured, or I can anchor on site after they're coming out if I feel like I can defend. But this way, this B site is heavily defended and this A site has me spotting for early information. Now defending is still relatively the same thing as before. You smoke, you pull, you concuss, and then that way it gives you the maximum amount of area to defend. So there's really no difference in that. The biggest difference in Astra is normally the mental that goes on and how you make sure your utility connects. How about the attacking side? Well, for the attacking side, you kind of want to play a little bit faster. Unlike Brimstone, where you get 3 that are available to you throughout the entire round, Astra only has 2 that she can pop at once. Meaning not only are you having less smokes every time you use one, you also can only pop 2 at once. So you're waiting for the cooldown to come off so you can pop another smoke. And with smokes taking so much longer now with 25 seconds, you're going to want to capitalize as soon as possible. Throwing the stars like this means that not only do you need to, within the 15-second time limit of the smoke being up, take the space behind it, you now need to wait an additional 10 seconds to get through. And maybe in taking space, you might want to start using abilities rather than your smokes. So since Concuss is actually one of the lesser used abilities, I might put a star in somewhere like here, right off the beginning of the round, so I can cuss and stop any jet opera from kind of pushing it.
Blasting him!
Then after that, right after, I'm following up immediately trying to take this mid space. Although I don't have a concuss for 45 seconds, I do still have smokes that I can use. So now, after taking this sort of space, someone has to be kind of posted on the angle. And then you can kind of move toward mid to clear mid and then go toward B. So something like this. That way I don't have to wait as long for a B split. And I would even have 1 star left for a pull like something stairs if I really wanted to. In terms of hitting site on the attacking side, I'm now kind of more inclined to use all my stars to try to clear out as many angles and get onto site as safely as possible. Smoke, pull, concuss, allowing me to get out relatively freely and my teammates. Hopefully we don't lose any lives and maybe we get a bonus pick or 2. And the reason why I'm more inclined to use 4 abilities rather than 3 before is because now if you happen to use 3, you only have 1 star to kind of use as a smoke, which just isn't as good because before if you save 2, you'd be able to re-smoke off the chokes, which most sites have 2. But now that you only have 1, it's like it's not even really worth it to play up aggressively and it's more worth it to sit back. So in the case that it's worth to sit back, I don't think one of these smokes does as much as I would like it to. So I think the trade-off is less bad now that it makes sense to use all 4 if you really need to. I'll leave that up to you. Things that I would kind of look for to make this kind of decision is usually up to information. Now I know what a lot of you guys might be thinking. Why does it seem like it's just strictly harder to play Astra now? Why does it seem like there's no benefits? Well, it's pretty much because all of the things that they changed to Astra are nerfs. The only benefit that Astra really saw was that her smokes are bigger and that she can place stars from farther away with her astral form. That's kind of like putting the cherry on top of an empty ice cream bowl. It's cool, you have a cherry, you know, but there's no substance behind the already existing agent. Smokes being bigger is nice, but a normal size smoke does 99% of the job a bigger smoke does. Having farther range to put down your stars is awesome, but Astra almost already had that. So when they're playing Astra, expect it to be difficult, but it's also really rewarding. If Riot does come out with some buffs for Astra that I think are substantial, I'll make another video explaining how you would play that, so don't worry there. All in all, I hope you guys enjoyed. For those of you guys who are toughing out the Astra meta, good on you, and I believe in you. As always, peace out. I'll see you in the next video.